I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. Tender moments seem to go so fast. Reminisce, reminisce. I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. A love so strong it will never pass.
Love Park Connection.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
So how you doing, babe?
I'm doing fine.
We're not going to make this a take 3. No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep going with it.
Keep going. Keep rolling. I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good.
I'm glad we went on our walk again today because you've been slipping.
Yeah,
You've been slipping. You haven't been going walking with me.
I've been busy.
I know. You've been slipping. I'm just saying, where's the quality time?
I know, but I've been working and then I got rehearsals for the show coming up.
Whatever.
Oh, Lord. Will somebody please help me out there? Please.
So today, baby, we are going to talk about mindset.
Okay, mindset.
Mindset.
Okay.
You know, because if your mind ain't right, then you can't have a healthy relationship, right?
You got that right.
But before we get started, let us introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Welcome to Love Park Connection, where we talk about the pains and pleasures of life, love, and relationships.
Yep.
My name is Angela Parker.
And I'm Pierre Parker.
And we are a husband and wife marriage and relationship coaching duo. We've been together 27 years.
Yep.
Married 27 years, together for over 30 years. And it is our goal to help Black couples communicate more, love more, and build healthy long-term relationships.
Yep. That's right.
So thank you again, baby, for joining me.
You're welcome.
I look forward to these.
You do?
I do. Well,
I
you taking
do,
off?
too.
You taking off your?
I'm taking
Dangly
off
thing.
my dangly thing so that I'm not having a bunch of dangle stuff going on.
It's fine. No, that one's good. You can leave that one on.
Oh, well, it don't matter. Then I have like my sisters and stuff and listening. They're like, how come you didn't take off your beads?
Well, I'm not taking off my beads. I don't care.
Well,
Anyway.
dang.
So please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I forgot to mention that. And again, thank you so much for joining us. So, mindset, babe. Now, we talk about mindsets. We know about mindset when it comes to your business. They always say you have to have this positive mindset, positive energy to build a business mindset. If you're trying to build your career in the corporate world, you have to have this great mindset. But what about mindset in your relationship?
Well, I think you definitely have to have the mindset in a relationship because, first of all, pretty much all that stuff you just said pertains to a marriage as well. A marriage is a partnership. A marriage is a business.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. So if you don't have the right mindset, it's not going to succeed. You have to have the right mindset more so for a marriage than you do even for those other things. Because a marriage is somebody that you with all the rest of your life.
Time. Right.
Now, you may have a business, and the business may only last a few years or so, and then you on to another business.
That's true.
And again, some
people have marriages like that.
Like that. They have marriages for a couple
Every 3 to 5 years, got to get a new business, got to do marriage.
A new wife or a new husband.
Right.
That's a lot of work.
That is a lot of work, but I think that we have to. You're right. You have to really. Your mindset will determine how your relationship, whether it's marriage or your relationship or a long-term relationship, or even a new relationship. If you come into a relationship with baggage like we all have, especially as you get older, the older you get, the more baggage you have if you've had multiple relationships. And if you come into your relationship carrying that baggage and then have that negative mindset, then that's going to be another relationship that's going to fail because you have brought all that negativity, that negative energy, that negative mindset into that relationship, and you can't effectively build a healthy relationship if you're thinking about what your last boyfriend or girlfriend did, and you're placing that negativity or that mindset on your new relationship. So you really have to. You almost have to purge, and sometimes you have to really think about, and sometimes you just have to really sit with what you've gone through, and try to do your best to move forward and communicate that with your new partner. If there's certain things that you can't get past, and you see that negativity is always there with you and it's impacting your relationship, you have to figure out and talk to your partner and say, look, this is what's going on. And maybe that your partner can help you change that mindset if they know what's going on, or what kind of insecurities or issues that you're having or bringing with you from old relationships to new relationships.
Yeah.
So your mindset impacts your communication. It impacts the way you even interact with his family and friends, or her family and friends. Yeah. So you really have to figure out how to change that mindset when you're in a relationship, new or a relationship as old as ours.
Yeah.
We might not have the baggage, but if we're letting the stresses of work or the outside world impact our mind and impact how we feel, and we bring that home, that can have a negative impact on the relationship.
Very much so. Very much so. We all get tested at work.
Yeah.
And we come home, and a lot of times, depending on the relationship, if you guys are already, having slight problems or whatever, you might come home from work, and then the stuff, whatever wife, husband may say something that set it off.
Right.
Set you off again. So, it's best to try to, I always say when you leave work, try to leave that stuff at work as much as possible.
You're real good at that. But you also when things are bothering you at work, you do talk to me about them.
Oh yeah.
You don't bottle it up inside.
Yeah.
You do talk to me about it. And that's what I think is important, because you do let me in. And of course, there's nothing I can do to change how work is treating you, but at least I know if you've had a very tiring day, then I know that, hey, right now he's mentally and physically exhausted, not to bombard him with, stuff when he walks through the door, because you need to take a mental break.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. And that just doesn't go for the husbands, ladies. That goes for men doing that to women too. When you guys walk in, it's... my brothers don't walk in with the first thing, when they come in, the first thing was dinner and all this stuff. No, man. No.
Right.
It's got to be the respect all the way around.
All the way around.
Hey, if she come in and she tired, or whatever, she had a long day, man, get her a glass of wine or something. Whatever, give her a back rub and let her... sometimes it'd be hard for us to just listen but sometimes we may just have to listen to her and what she has to say. And that may be her decompression, her way to decompress.
Exactly.
So, and vice versa, like we said. And you're real good at that. I can sit there and you can be my sounding board.
I try to be. Yeah, I try to be. So how do you think communication... how do you think your mindset can influence your communication? So, for example, if you have a defensive mindset, and your partner is trying to give you constructive criticism, how do you think?
We know that one. I know that one well.
Yes. So how does that impact, and what do you think can be done if that person does have that mindset that, I see it as criticism. It might be constructive criticism, but I see that as criticism.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you negate or help your partner kind of get over that? Because,
Well, speaking from experience.
oh, here we go.
Speaking
Here
from
we go.
experience, you have to let that person know after a while. I have to be like I had to tell you before. I'm
Right.
like, look, just because I'm giving you constructive criticism does not mean it's negative. That's what it's called. It's constructive criticism.
Right.
It's something to help you. It's
Right.
not beating you down. It's not tearing you down.
Right.
And that's what most people that take things negatively like that, they have to understand that coming from a loved one. Now, yes, there are people that are just assholes and that do want to try to just beat you down
Right.
on things, but usually from a loved one, and when somebody is trying to give you some information to help you, you have to understand that that's where it's coming from love.
Right.
They're trying to tell you something that's going to improve you, that's going to help you to either get over something a little bit, get over a hump, or to understand something a little bit better. You have to take it as that. Don't
Right.
take it as this person is knocking me down
Right.
or whatever
Belittling
it is.
me or something.
Belittling me. Belittling me.
Right.
Yeah, don't take it. You can't take it that way. And I always remember that, constructive criticism is actually a really good thing.
Yeah.
Because that means it's something that somebody sees in you that they say, this is where you can use some improvement to improve yourself
Right.
or whatever it is that you're doing. So it's not always beating you up and tearing you down. And a lot of times what that comes from, and that stems from other things in your life.
It does. Yeah.
It could be your father, or it could be your mother.
It could be
your
past relationships. Right.
It can be brothers or sisters that just was always beating you down on different things.
Right.
So it's understandable, but you have to understand you have to be able to see the difference when somebody is beating you down and somebody is giving you information that can help you.
And I know for me, I do have to, and even now I do have to really step back when you tell me something. Step back, and before I get defensive, I try now to step back and really see it from your perspective and say, okay, is this something that he's seeing in me that I don't see? And if it is, even though I might not see it right now, let me just try and take the information that you're giving me and try to work on, what information you're giving me. And so I really have to in my head step back and think about it before I react. So that's one thing that we have to remember is sometimes, again, this goes back to communication and listening. And before I make a comment or get defensive, I say, okay, let me think about what he's saying, and before I make a comment, let me really think about and digest and think about what you're telling me.
Yeah.
And then after, if it's maybe it'll be an hour or two later, after I've had a chance to really ponder and think about what you've told me, I might come back and say, well, I don't agree. Or I might say, you know what, you're right. Or I might, even in that moment, I might say, you know what, you're right. Or, I see what you're saying. I'll agree to disagree, but I hear what you're telling me.
Yeah.
But again, it's the mindset of me not thinking that you're attacking me, that you're telling me something that could better what I'm doing or better me as a person. So that's really important, and that does take trust in your partner and also your partner when they're giving that constructive criticism, that again they are doing it from the heart. And again, that goes back to also your partner's mindset. If you have that negative mindset, or that's your personality and you're so used to beating other people down, then that mindset, that criticism, that's not constructive but actual criticism, that's what you're so used to doing that you just carry it over to in each relationship.
Exactly.
And again, that's a mindset.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
how do you think when you're approaching, conflict resolution, and how do you think your mindset has an impact on resolving issues in a relationship?
Well, I think it has a
Like for saying I'm sorry, saying I'm sorry.
oh, why we got to be bringing up stuff like that?
What about? So I mean, because that is a mindset. Because a lot of times, a man's mindset, not all men, but a large majority of the time, a man's mindset is, it's hard for y'all to say I'm sorry.
Well, like I said before, when I'm wrong,
There's that mindset. When I'm
when
wrong,
I'm wrong, that ain't often. No. No, I'll say sorry.
You say sorry now.
I'll say sorry.
you'll say I'm sorry now. As a matter of fact,
but
the
I mean,
other day,
as of lately, I've been wrong on some things.
yes, you have
I've been
been.
wrong on some things. When I'm wrong, I say sorry.
And I was pleasantly surprised when you called back and said, I'm sorry. I'm like, what? Yes, score.
Oh, see?
No, but I mean, again, if your mindset is I'm never wrong, then you're never going to apologize.
You're right.
So
right.
what would you tell somebody, a man?
I tell a man to stop tripping. I say, nigga, you ain't always right. I can say nigga. Can
Why
you?
do you keep saying that word?
Oh, cuz. Do I need to get into my whole theory?
No, just go ahead.
Okay.
You about to go into left field. Go ahead.
Anyway, I'll be like, brother, is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Brother, you are not always right. You're not always right. So
And how
listen to what she's saying and try to empathize and then analyze it. And when you realize that you are wrong, apologize.
Okay.
So,
And sometimes, you know what? if you have, even if you're not wrong, sometimes it's okay to just say, I'm sorry because we got into a disagreement.
yeah, it is.
I've said that plenty of times. I'm not wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, but I am sorry.
But sorry that we got into a disagreement.
Because to me, it's more important for us to, even if we don't see eye to eye, it's more important it's more important for us to come together and discuss it in a calm manner than for us to keep bumping heads and nobody saying I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So again, that goes back to a mindset. I don't want to bring all that negative energy and keep that negative energy swirling around.
Yeah.
I want to just squash it and say, okay, I'm sorry. We got into a disagreement. Let's regroup when we both had a chance to calm down, and let's talk about it and see if we can come to a better conclusion.
Yeah. And then there's times when, things won't get resolved.
No.
You just be like, okay, you say, I'm sorry because we got into this discussion or we got into, this disagreement. But, we'll just agree to disagree on the situation.
Your favorite phrase, huh?
Yeah, whatever.
I know, because you want to hash it out.
We got to resolve it. It's got to be a winner.
See, that's that competitive side.
That is.
See, that mindset, I got to win.
Gotta win. I gotta win. And that's something actually I had to do. I had to understand that. I had to learn that.
You had to learn
that.
what?
I had to
That
learn
you don't always have to win?
Yeah.
When did you realize that?
When did I realize that?
What, a year ago?
No, see, I mean, maybe not. I'm not.
Hopefully one of your sisters got in your ear and told you.
No, why we gotta bring them up? When it comes.
They got in your ear and told you don't always have to win.
Well, see. Y'all don't understand. I get triple and quadruple teamed by her and my sisters. And help y'all. Help me. Help me. I get beat up. Oh. So, but yeah, a lot of times they jump on her side, which ain't fair.
Well, that's because most of the time I'm right.
Whatever. See.
No.
But anyway, yeah. No, it's just. That was something that I had to realize. I had to understand that, and I had to look at your side of it, and and if it wasn't, something that we were going to be just constantly this on, and it wasn't anything that was real, detrimental to what was going on with us.
Right.
If it was something stupid, I'm like, well, we just going to have to agree to disagree on that. I can't remember what the one was we was having recently, and we were just like, we just gonna have to agree to disagree.
No, I said that, and you were like,
and I was like,
because I wasn't going to discuss it any further.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to discuss it any further because it don't make no sense to discuss it any further.
Like, no, we got to.
Well, I'm glad you realize that.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree to disagree. So, trust and vulnerability. I know this is a big one when it comes to people's mindsets. Mm-hmm. So, of course, in a healthy relationship, you have to be able to trust and you have to be able to be vulnerable with your partner. Mm-hmm. And having a mindset that encourages open and honest and vulnerable discussions helps you connect better with your partner. Mm-hmm. So if you can't be vulnerable with your partner and you can't trust that when I'm being vulnerable with you, you won't take or make fun of it, you won't judge it. Mm-hmm. That's also another mindset that, okay, I can be vulnerable with you because you have proven that you're not going to be judgmental. You're not going to take advantage. You're not going to, make fun of what to me is maybe a vulnerable topic or a vulnerable situation. And that's a mindset on both sides, because you, as my husband, if you had the mindset where you are going to be judgmental, and you have come a long way from, when we were first married, and how because you had things a certain way, that you liked things a certain way and you did things a certain way, and my way was different, then it made it hard for me to be able to feel vulnerable with you and trust. But of course, as time has gone on, you've gotten older, I've gotten older. You have proven over again that you can be vulnerable, that I can be vulnerable with you, and I can trust that you're not going to, take advantage of or be an ass if I'm trying to be vulnerable with you.
Yeah.
So as for a man, in the same situation, you've been able to be vulnerable with me.
Yeah.
Well, talk about that, baby. Talk about your vulnerability.
My vulnerability?
Yeah.
There's been
a couple of them. To me, I think I can use example when you were, I think.
Yeah, let me know, because it's all gone.
I know. You try and erase all that vulnerability.
Stuff. That's gone.
No.
That was way in the past, like ancient times.
Oh, my gosh. I'm talking about even when you were in martial arts, there were some times where there were situations where, you were vulnerable because, I won't go into details, but because of the circumstances that were going on, there were times where I saw that vulnerability come out because, you felt like you weren't being appreciated.
Yeah.
So, and of course, your vulnerability and my vulnerability are different, but you and the way yes, they're different, but in the way we handled it, in the way we, and the way we deal with it. But because you were being vulnerable, I was more mad, not at you, but at the situation, yes. And I'm ready to go tear somebody's head off.
Yeah, go kill a dragon.
Go kill a dragon. Kill a dragon. But it takes a lot for I'm sure it took a lot for you to show that vulnerable side because, you know, being a man, you know, men don't want to show that vulnerable side. But if you have someone who is going to be able to comfort that, again, that goes back into the mindset of being able to show that vulnerable side because you're trusting me.
Yeah.
To not, you know, judge you and be like, what, you a man up, you know, because
Sissy.
right,
Sissy, old soft brother. I didn't say the word brother. Old soft ass. Look.
oh God, we got the whole acting with it too, huh? Anyway, so I mean that's important. That is being able to trust and be vulnerable with your partner. That's a mindset that it has to work on both sides.
It does. It does. And actually, you came in very handy when I needed that talking. I needed to get it out, and
yes,
yeah, that and the same thing when when my mom's and my grandmother and them died. You know, you was there, and that was a vulnerable time.
Yes,
so
it was.
We as men, it's hard for us to show that vulnerability, but we do have to do it. And when you have that right one, i.e., my wife, when you have that right one that you can be vulnerable to, you know, and let it out, then that's how you know it's the one.
Right. So it goes back to, in my opinion, it goes back to when you're in a relationship, whether it's brand new or whether it's 30 years and counting, you have to have, and you're not going to always have a positive mindset, but you have to not let the bullshit out in the world permeate your home and permeate your mind.
Yep.
Because you bringing that home or you allowing it to fester is going to have a detrimental impact on your relationship. And you have to talk it through. If there's something that you can't get past, if there's an issue that you can't get past and it's impacting your relationship, then you need to talk to your person about that and figure out how to get past it, because that's a lot of negative energy. Because I'm real big on energy. I'm real big on you know, your mind and how your mind impacts every part of your life. And this is just one aspect. Probably the biggest aspect is your relationship, because again, and I think it works hand in hand. It's all interconnected. If your home life is good, for the most part, you can go out into the world, and you know you can pretty much get through what life is throwing at you if your home life is good. Now, you know, of course, you have stuff out in the world that impacts you, and hopefully you don't bring it home. But once you get at that door, whatever the world has been throwing at you, your mindset has to be, when I walk through this door, I'm going to leave all that outside.
Yep. That's exactly why I have a persona that I have at work. And then I have my persona when I leave work. And when I leave work, that persona and that person that they call me at work stays at work.
Right.
It doesn't come home.
Oh, I want to be a fly on the wall then to see what that persona is at work.
Well, you already know that persona, but
it's the same.
But a lot of people at my job, they don't know how I am when I come home, and they don't know me around my family and all that stuff. They only know me how I am at work.
That's what I'm saying. So you're a different person at work? Because I hear you on the phone when you're at work.
You know all the people. You know every every entity of me.
Oh.
So they don't. So
okay.
Yeah, so they see that one at work. And then I come here and that stays at work.
That stays at work. Okay.
Yep. And that's where I created that, so that I could leave all that stuff at home. At work. Now, every now and then, like we said, I'll come home and I'll tell you what's bugging me.
Right.
If it's something, it has to be something pretty annoying for me to still be bugged when I leave home. I mean, when I leave work
and get home.
And I get home, it has to be something pretty bad. But most of the time, I'll leave it at work.
Okay. Well. So are there any wise words you would tell someone when it comes to their mindset and their relationship?
I would tell the brothers, don't be afraid to be vulnerable with your loved one, with your wife or your long-term girlfriend or whatever. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid. Mm-hmm. Trust them. That's one of the reasons why they're in your life. Mm-hmm. That is, when you marry somebody, that person is your ride or die. Mm-hmm. You know,
it's supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, and if that is not, if you feel right off that person is not your ride or die, or you just don't trust them, or you feel that after so long, then that's not the one for you. You don't need to be with that person. Don't try to make it work. Just don't even be there with that person. If you can't give them that amount of trust,
right,
then it doesn't make any sense for you to try to build a relationship or a life with somebody that you don't have that trust with.
Yeah.
That's a very important thing. So, and this goes not just for men, this goes for women as well.
Yeah.
If you don't trust this man to, he might be, whatever in bed, he might have all this money, but if you don't really feel that trust to where that you can be yourself, you can tell him how you really feel, and you can all this without being judged and all that stuff, then that's not the one you need to be with.
Right.
That's
true.
Don't even try to make that work.
Don't try and force it.
Don't try to force it. Excuse me. Don't try to force it.
Right.
Because, it may not happen, especially if he's not willing to try.
Right.
So, or she's not willing to try.
Right.
So that's what I would say.
Okay.
And my brothers, it ain't always about the machismo. What is it? Machismo?
Machismo.
Yeah, machismo or whatever. Machismo.
Don't even try and say it.
I don't know. It ain't always about being all hard and all this stuff. And just because you kind of, I don't cry, but, I don't cry. But just because you just don't, you shed a little tear every blue moon, man, in front of your woman, it's all right, man.
Exactly.
I don't, but... No, it's all right.
He just go in the bathroom and cry.
I let it out in the bathroom, in the shower. You can't tell. Because my face, I put water on my face, too.
All wet.
Face all wet. You don't know.
And I would say that a mindset, it's not fixed. It can change over time. And if you become self-aware that you do have this negative mindset, you have to put in the effort to change it, whether it's through coaching, whether it's through therapy, whether it's through just talking with your loved one. Because as a couple, you guys have to work together to cultivate that positive mindset and to support, your relationship. And it's just important that you talk openly and communicate with your loved one what's going on, but you still have to make every effort to develop a positive mindset, because life is what it is.
Yeah.
And if you have a great relationship and you're able to talk to the person that you love and say, hey, this is what's going on with me. I can't get past A, B, C, or D. Then hopefully your partner will be able to help you work through that.
Yeah.
Because your mindset is everything in a relationship. You can't communicate. You can't be vulnerable. You can't resolve conflict. Your self-esteem also is impacted by your mindset. So you really have to figure out how to work through that mindset.
And it also helps to have, a good circle around you. I mentioned a lot, you guys have heard, I mentioned a lot about my sisters, but I got, some incredible brothers that I have. Now, they don't have a problem with getting in my behind or telling me, man, you tripping.
Yeah.
You know, my sisters, they get in my behind about stuff. They help me to really understand. Like if she gets on my nerves about some things, you know, if Angela gets on my nerves or something, they quick to be like, no, what did you do? Which that be kind of annoying sometimes. but they're quick to get me to understand her side of it. You know, because sometimes I might be in the moment and don't want to hear her side of it. So they tell me. And then vice versa with my boys. My boys will be like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you tripping? Get yourself together. So it does help to have a good circle of people around you. They also help you to get yourself together sometime too. You need that. Sometimes you need someone to slap you over the head with some reality to get you out of a moment that you might be tripping on.
And that was, I mean, my mom, before she passed, was my, you know, my little, was that Geppetto? Anyway, my little,
Geppetto.
who was it? The little cricket on Pinocchio.
Yeah.
I forgot his name, but
Jiminy Cricket.
Jiminy Cricket. She was my Jiminy Cricket. And now, you know, I don't have a bigger circle as he does, but I have one or two folks that I can go to. But she was really, especially when our relationship started and our marriage started, she was the main person who was in my ear saying, hey, get your shit right, Angela. You know, you guys work this out and get your shit right.
You got a good man.
She did say that. She did say
You
that.
got
She
a
jumped
good
in my
man.
butt.
Don't mess up.
Don't mess
That's
up.
my future in son-in-law right
she
there.
did. Yes, she did. So, and thankfully she was around long enough where she instilled a lot of, you know, good stuff and good values. So now every time I start, you know, thinking or doing something that's a little out of pocket, I'm like, okay, what would my mama say? So, and, you know, and then I have, like I said, one or two other friends who are like, look, you know, especially some single friends, look, you got a good man there. Don't mess up. You know, he loves you, blah, blah, blah. So,
They quick to tell her that it's rough out in them streets.
Yes.
It's rough in them streets.
Yes. They will tell me that in a heartbeat. So, but yeah, it's just like I said, it's about the mindset. And if you have your tribe to help you realize that, hey, you know, you need to rethink how you doing things or what you're saying. It's always good to have that. So,
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Anything else you want to add on, baby, before we?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. Okay. Well, thank you guys again for joining us. Please, again, remember to like, share, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell so when we have new videos, you will be notified.
Yep.
And please sign up for our email list at loveparkconnection.com for upcoming courses and the pre-sale of my book, 30 Years and Counting, which will be out sometime in November. So please sign up so you'll get updates on when it's going to be released.
Yep.
And again, that's loveparkconnection.com.
Yep.
Thank you again, baby.
You're welcome, babe.
Like I said, I really enjoy doing these with you.
It's fun.
It is. We have a good time.
We do. We're gonna have to get into some of these other topics that I always be like, yeah, we're gonna have to save that one for another one.
Yes. Yeah, you gotta. Hey, you come up with the topics. We'll talk about them.
Oh no, I have to always remember.
You do. You have to remember. You come up with the topics. We will talk about them. I have no problem because you like them off the cuff topics.
That's right. That is right. Because I am off the cuff.
Yes, you're off something.
I'm off the cuff and I'm off the hook and
Oh, God.
all of the above.
Goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.